Hi everyone, I go by the name of Justice Tsehla. Welcome to Civil Engineering Related e-learning. Our subject today is Quantity Surveying N4. Our topic today is the foundation. We need to take off the foundation up to the underside of the surface bed, and then after we square, abstract and build the earthworks only. So without wasting any time, let me show you the specification so that we can kickstart with our taking off. So now, ladies and gentlemen, here is our specification. So we are going to clear the site 1.5 meter beyond the external walls, and the concrete is in 15 MPAs, and the brickwork is in stretcher bond, and then we're going to use the stock bricks internally, and then face brick externally with 2 courses below ground level, and then the depth of the footing is 0.730 to the bottom of the our footings is 0.730 to the bottom of the footing from the natural ground level. So the footing width, the width of the footings is 600, and then the earth fill is 200. So we are told that we need to assume any specification that is not shown. So ladies and gentlemen, here is our floor plan of our foundation. It's 6.4 and 3.4, even though it's not up to scale, but then I think you can see it. This is the floor plan. It's 6.4, the length times the breadth. The length is 6.4 and then the breadth is 3.4. And we are given this information here, the section of the foundation, of which is not up to scale as well. With the footing, you can see the footings, the 330 wall. This is our 330 wall, this is our footings, this is our facings outside. So the surface bed and the hardcore. So now let's kickstart with our takeoff. So now let's kickstart with our takeoff. So here is our checklist. This is my checklist. You start with the checklist. The first one is the clearing of site. The second one is risk of collapse, is excavation, risk of collapse, risk of water, concrete, brick wall, the cutaway, the earth filling, extra over brick for the facings. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you this checklist again. It's clear site, excavation, risk of collapse, risk of water, the concrete, the brick wall, the cutaway, the earth filling, extra over brick for the facings. So now let's start with clearing of site. Clearing of site, we are given the information that we need to clear the site 1.5 meter beyond the walls. So we got 2 walls, which is 6.4 and 3.4. So you say you take that 2 meter, you multiply by 1.5 meter, you multiply it by 2 for both sides of 6.4. 1.5 times 2 for both sides, plus the 6.4 is 9.4, and then the 3.4 plus 2 sides of 1.5 times 2 for 2 sides, it's 6.4. So on your dimension paper, it's 9.4 and 6.40. 9.4 and 6.40. Let me repeat it again. We are given the information that for clearing of site it's 1.5 meters. So for us to clear the site, you take this side of 6.4 plus 2 times for both sides. 1.5 is 9.4, and then 3.4 plus 2 times 1.5 both sides, and then it's 6.4. And then on your dimension paper for the clearing of site, we clear the length and the breadth of the site is 9.4 and 6.40. Then from our checklist, we are done with the clearing of site. Then we go to our excavation. So for us to measure the excavation, we need to find the center line. So you write this statement: excavation in earth for surface trenches not exceeding 2 meter deep. So it's extra over cut away for surplus material. So let's start with our perimeter. For us to calculate our foundation dimensions, we need to calculate the center line. Here is our center line. It's 2 times length and 2 times the breadth, and then you minus the thickness of the wall. The thickness of the wall, it's 330, and then you say less 4 times 330, then it's gonna give you 18.28. For us to find the center line, it's 2 times the length plus 2 times the breadth, you minus 4 times the thickness of the wall, then it's gonna give you 18.28, and then that is our center line. And then on your dimension paper, this is the center line. The excavation is measured in cubic meters. So this is your center line. This is the height of your trench, and then this is the width of your trench. Let me show you the height of the trench from the given information. The depth of the footing is 0.730 to the bottom of the footing from the natural ground level, which is our 0.730, and then the width of our is 600. So you take the center line and the length, the center line, the width of the trench, and the height of the trench. Don't confuse yourself. The information says the depth of the footing is 0.730 to the bottom of the footing from natural ground level. Let me show you. This is the diagram, even though it's not up to scale. Let me show you. We need the height of the trench. Information says the height of the trench is from the bottom of the footings to from the bottom of the footings, from here, from the bottom of the footings up to the natural ground level. This is the height of our footings. Sorry, the height of the trench, not the footings. And then we are given the width of the trench, of the footings. So the width is 600, it's here from the given information, and then the height from here to the natural ground level is 0.78, which is 78, and then the width is 600. So we're done with clearing of site, the excavation. So now let's move to risk of collapse. Under risk of collapse, you write risk of collapse to the side of trenches not exceeding 1.5 meter deep. And then you take on your dimension paper, you take the center line, the perimeter of the trench, plus the height of the trench for risk of collapse. The perimeter of the trench, and then you take the height of the trench. This is your risk of collapse of trenches. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if this one is clear, but I think it's clear. The risk of collapse is the collapse from the risk of collapse is, this is the trench, this is the trench from the bottom to the natural ground level. So we need to prevent the risk of collapsing from these two sides of the trench. But then we take the height of the trench from the bottom to the natural ground level, which is 0.730. If you can check, this is our trench from the bottom to the top. This is your natural ground level. So here they prevented the risk of collapse by putting the bracings and these two boards in the trench and the bracings. These are the bracings, just to prevent the trench to collapse, our trench to collapse. That's what we call a risk of collapse prevention. So now we are done with risk of collapse. We go to risk of water. Under risk of water, you just write keep excavation or foundation free from water, and then you write item. You write item, and then here you write keep excavation free from water, and then you write item. After risk of water, we go to the concrete. Let's measure the concrete. Concrete is measured in cubic meters. Since concrete is measured in cubic meters, you take the perimeter of the hole where the concrete is casted. The concrete is casted in the trench, and then you take the perimeter, you take the width of the trench, you take the height of the concrete. You take the perimeter of the trench where the concrete is casted, the perimeter, and then times the width of your trench. This is the width, which is 600, and then the height. We are not given the height, so we are told that we need to assume any specification that is not shown in the specification. So here it's 200, the height of the concrete footings, and then it's 600. So now let's move to the brick wall. So you write 1.5 brick wall built-in stretcher bond. Under brick wall, 1.5 brick wall built-in stretcher bond, and then this is the perimeter of the trench where we are going to construct our wall, and then this is the thickness of our wall, which is 0.33, which is the 330 wall. This is the perimeter. We are going to construct our wall on top of our footings, concrete footings, and then this is the thickness of the wall. Even though we are not given the thickness of the wall, which is 1.5 brick wall, but let me show you on the diagram. We on foundation, we here. So on top of the concrete footings to the natural ground level, there is a 330 wall. If you can check, the 330 wall start from here to here, which is our natural ground level. On top of the footings to the top of or underside under natural ground level. So if you can check, the 330 start from here and then here, okay, fine. Here it reduced to 220. This is the surface bed. This is our 330 wall. This is 220. So that is why we say 1.5 brick wall. 1.5 is 220 plus 110, which is 330. You take the 330 plus the perimeter of the trench. So now let's move to backfill. So if you can check on our checklist, I forgot to write the backfill before the cutaway. So on your checklist, just add the backfilling under the brick wall. So let me explain the backfill, guys. The backfill, when you backfill, this is the width of your trench, which is 600. So we are going to backfill these two sides of the trench. You take the width of the trench, which is 600, you minus the thickness of the wall, and then you divide it by these two sides, the side of the trench. Akiri, you construct your brickwork at the center of your concrete footing. Then you take the 600 which is given, you minus the thickness of the wall, which is 330, and then you backfill your soil to these two sides. So it's 600 minus 330. It's 600 minus 330 divided by 2 by these two sides, which is 270. 270 divided by 2 is 135. 135, when you divide it by 1000, is gonna give you 0.135, which is 0.135, and then your 135 is 0.14. When you write it, you round it to the nearest 10. You take the backfilling plus, and then you multiply it. When you measure, is the backfilling times the height times the you take the perimeter of the wall where you are going to backfill, which is 18 point, that perimeter, that 18.82 what, and then you take the height, you take the width of the trench. This is the backfilling to sides of trenches. It's 600 minus 330 divided by 2, which is 135, and then you take, when you measure on your dimension paper, it's two sides. 18.28 is the perimeter, and then 0.53 is the height of your trench from on top of the concrete footings to the natural ground level. It's 530. I get it 730 minus that 200 of concrete footings, and then it's gonna give you 530, and then 0.14, it's 135 when you round it off to the nearest 10. From after backfill, we go to cut away. So we're done with brick wall, then we go to cut away. Oh, it's backfill here. We're done with backfill, and then after it's cut away. Guys, we all know that in construction, the term cut away refers to the removal of materials such as soil that need to be taken away from the site. So we are going to cut away our soil. Like we are on foundation, so the unwanted material is the soil. Under cut away, you write extra over cut away surplus material. So for you to measure cut away, it's the center line times the width of the trench times the thickness of the wall. And then we are going to cut away it's both sides. So we are going to cut away is the height of the trench and the thickness of the wall again. The thickness of the wall, the height of the trench, the perimeter, the thickness of the wall, the width of the trench, and the perimeter. Then after we're done with the earth fill, the cutaway, we are done with the cutaway, then we go to the earth fill. Second before last, the earth fill. If you can check from our going back to our specification, we are given the earth fill. The earth fill is 200 millimeter thick. 200 millimeter thick. And the earth fill, it's you write this statement: earth fill to the underside of the surface bed. We are given the thickness of the earth fill before you construct. Before construction, if you can check, they put the G5 soil. Usually we call it G5, and then that's what we call earth fill. It's G5, and then you compact it, and then you after compaction you dig your trenches. So it's 6,400 minus the thickness of the wall, which is 60/70, and then you divide it by 1,000, is gonna give you 6.07. It's 3,400 minus 330 divided by 1,000 is 3.07, and then you multiply it by the 200, the thickness of the earth fill. So now we're done with backfill, earth fill. So the last part is extra over brick. Extra over means outside. We need to measure the length of the exposed bricks outside. And then including, when you write your statement, it's extra over brick. It's extra over brick facings, including the wall ties. And then brick facings, if you can check from the given information, we are told that we need to take 2 courses below ground level. This is our specification. Face bricks externally 2 courses below ground level. Face brick external 2 courses below ground level. Facings means outside. So you take this 3.4, you multiply it by 2, is gonna give you this 6.8, and then you take 6.4, you multiply by 2, it's gonna give you 12.8, and then you add the 2, when you add the two, they'll give you 9,600. Now let's measure. It's 9,600 is 2 times 6.4 plus 2 times 3.4. It's 9.6. You don't minus the thickness of the wall. It's 19.60 when you divide it by 1,000, and then 0.35 is 350. You take the 200 of the earth fill plus 2 times 75. 75 is 2 courses below ground level. 2 times 75, it's 150 plus 200 of hardcore, the earth fill, then it's gonna give you 350. Then is the facings means outside, it's 19.60 plus 0.35, which is 350. This 75 is 2 courses below ground level times 2, and then this is the hardcore, the earth fill. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now came to the end of our lesson today. I hope you enjoyed and benefited from this lesson today. For those who have questions, please post your questions on the comment section. Don't forget to like my page, Civil Engineering Nated E-Learning. Like, share, and comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The name of the YouTube channel is Justice Tell. Thank you.